Like label go live. Hello. You can only see two of us today.
And you are in my little window.
Technical difficulties. Give us a moment. You have it set up to the specific one on the go live button. Uh, yeah, you didn't have the stream deck last time we played Black Label. So it's been a while. Uh, so we're gonna do our side campaign here today. Um, I apologize to any of our longtime viewers, but you should also know by now that I don't have all of the fun battle maps and stuff. I do theater of the mind because it's way too hard for me to plan out a map and then I don't like to not that I would accuse anyone of railroading someone by having a map ready for them. Uh Chuck's just really good at reading what we're going to do. And we do a pretty good job of also like telling him like, hey, this is what we're thinking about planning on doing and stuff like that. Um, yes, he has a degree in psychology. I don't have that. I'm a very much like, oh, you're walking down a forest lane. Okay. Page 67 of the monster manual attacks you, like so
It makes for a good podcast because then we actually have to describe where we're going and what we're
that's true.
doing.
Yeah, you can just kind of listen. You don't have to watch so much if you don't want to. Um, so that is that. Anyways, so we'll do a little bit of recapping since it's been a while.
Yeah, what has happened since
So
then?
last time we played, and actually I might as well just recap the whole thing. So Morian, Faerzress, and Talos got thrown through a portal and ended up in this mysterious swampy deathland, and they fought some stuff. They encountered some people that were trying to survive. They encountered Darius, who had awoken inside of a crypt as a reborn. Um, and they have all been given information that there is possibly a way out of this place by going to the castle of the first, who is whether or not it's true, but the myth around it is the first was the first person to have been thrown into this land and built up a bunch of stuff within it, which then is continued to be used by other people. So um, they fought a white after they invaded his personal space, and then they took a long rest. And that is where we are picking up. You guys have now woken up inside of this small little crypt that you found. Um, I don't know if you guys took. Did you take watches or did you all just sleep?
I don't sleep. I'm
Darius
conscious
is
the whole time.
aware constantly if he's sleeping, so I think he told you guys, or he probably didn't know yet because he's still getting
I
used to
didn't know
it. But
yet.
um, take separate watches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
if we don't know that Darius can do that, we would have taken watch.
Okay.
probably. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing happened. I'm just wanting to specify just that we kind of know, and so you guys can know going forward if you're going to do that kind of stuff. That's true. Yeah, both of you can just be kind of aware. Just you have to shut down for a little while.
And
Um,
Talos, being a soldier, is going to insist on taking watch.
yeah. So you actually guys have a pretty vigilant nighttime group because two of you are 100% aware at all times, even if you're kind of you know resting.
I
So
just take a cat nap.
yeah, that's funny. Okay, so you've all woken up, gotten up, and you're pretty hungry. Well, Darius
not.
might not be. Darius
I'm
isn't.
not.
The other two of you are hungry. Talos had a little bit to eat the day before, but not enough.
That's
And
right. I had leg of cleric.
leg of cleric, yeah. And Morian, you have not eaten in probably almost 2 days now. So just keep that in mind. You guys are definitely hungry. I'm not going to have it give you any sort of minuses because most people can go. I mean, you wouldn't want to, but you could physically go weeks without eating as long as you have water. But you also haven't really had a lot to drink either. So, keep that in mind. All right, so you've all woke up. What are you gonna do?
That felt very great. Well, I don't think I actually went to sleep last night. I think I don't. I feel better, but I was awake. That's new. I don't think I've done that before. Anyways, I think we should go. Let me check. I don't think I am. Not actually. Now that you mention it, I'm not hungry at all.
What are you?
Last I checked, I was human, but strange. Unless it's this area. I mean, wherever we are, is it some of the aspect of this place? Maybe it just we don't get hungry or thirsty here. So never mind. Is the corpse of the white still there?
I mean, did you guys leave it in there, or did you toss it out the door?
I probably wouldn't have messed with it. Well, I
I don't
passed
think I
out, I
would have
guess,
cared.
pretty much immediately
So it's still there then.
because I got knocked out in that fight. Well, there's a meat right here if you're that hungry.
Do we know enough about whites to know if we want to eat it or not?
Morian does because he's studied undead, so he knows. But yeah, even if he wouldn't eat people, but also he knows that undead flesh is not safe for consumption.
Well, then I bet we better go out. Search for some food for you, I guess. As long as it doesn't slow us down.
Okay, you guys exit the crypt. There is no day and night here. It is the same dark, foggy landscape. No stars in the sky, and just occasional flashes of this purple glowing lightning that kind of light up the surrounding area a little bit. No sound, just the flash of light. It's disconcerting. It's weird. It's literally, if you stand perfectly still, apart from maybe being able to hear a little bit of each other's breathing, it's complete silence.
I want to get like a good read like around us as we step out. Do I see any more undead coming this way or like in a direction or another?
Make a perception check, both of you.
I'm very bad at these. Yep. 9.
You do not see any undead in the immediate area. You hear no whistling. You hear nothing, just dead silence apart from any sound you guys are making.
So I don't know exactly how this rules. Do I have to so I have heightened senses, which means I have advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. So do I have to
you don't necessarily
specify hearing or
specifying can help if you're really wanting to tune in on one of them in particular, but just if you were just remind me when you're doing perception checks at times. In this case, in this instance, even with the 15, you don't smell or hear anything either.
Okay.
So apart from each other.
I wouldn't be super aware of that yet either, really.
Yeah. Talos smells a little bit like a wet cat.
Can I make a perception check?
Absolutely, if you would like to. No, nothing.
Oh, if only I had advantage.
Just darkness and fog.
All right, well, we might as well go walking.
Did we actually figure that out? I don't think we actually specifically.
I think we did, and we said when it was closer, it was safer. Yeah, I think I remember Panda saying that and having figured it out.
I have a vague memory of that, yeah. If that wasn't the thing that we already killed.
I don't know.
I think it just disappeared into like a yawning portal.
Dude, it's been so long.
You do remember when you fought the Whistler that it got like sucked down into a purple glowing chasm.
Okay, so it may still be out there. Any area in particular look like it may have like a settlement of some sort, or a little more lush?
Roll me, if you're looking for just like a lush area, roll me a perception check. If you're looking for signs of civilization or habitation, roll an investigation.
I'll do habitate. Yeah, the second one. Oh, 12.
Okay. A little bit of investigating, and you're able to find, amidst the puddles and the mud and the muck of the swamp, you can find stones that, the remnants of a road that has been buried over time.
Okay.
It doesn't go in directly the direction you guys were headed, but it does go roughly in that direction.
Well, there is a stone path if we want to follow that. It's not directly in the area we were going, but it doesn't seem super far off the course.
Listen, this
Is it better ground to walk
on? It's going to be a little bit sturdier. It's still like half buried, so there's still some muddiness. There's still some wateriness to it. But you know you're not going to sink down to your thighs in it, because even if there's a little bit of mud and water, there's that stone road underneath it, even if it has sunk a little bit. Whereas
Well,
trudging through the main swamp, you could always find a sinkhole or something quite easily.
It's definitely more stable.
Go for it.
All right.
I was wondering if you were going to remember that after a long gap of time. Okay. Okay. So you guys are just going to start along the road?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I haven't taken notes for this campaign yet.
I don't know where my physical dice are, so give me a second to pull up my dice app here. Actually, you know what? You don't know what I'm rolling for. I'll just do it in roll 20. Okay. So you guys start following this road. It's a little bit hard to see at times because it kind of disappears into the muck. But with the little bit of a light from the lantern, the occasional flashes of light from the sky, and being able to feel the stone on foot, you're able to keep on the road. After traveling for a short while, it's hard for you to see like the countryside because the fog is so thick. You can't really see what kind of area you're traveling through, apart from just like a sort of a bubble around you, maybe 20 feet out before it gets too thick to see into. But the wetness and the mud start to get less, starts to dry out a little bit, and the road becomes more prevalent and kind of inclines up just a little bit. And you seem to move from the swamp into more of like a grasslands type biome. The road is still very overgrown with like the grass and some stones missing and stuff, but it's much easier to see now because it's not buried in water and muck. And everyone roll another perception check for me. This will be for sight, so Panda's advantage won't be into play on this one. Okay. Actually, all of you passed. It was only a 10. Ahead of you, through one of the flashes of the purple light, you still see the castle silhouetted way off in the distance. It doesn't seem to have gotten any larger. Although when it's a silhouette, who's to say? But now you also see that stretching across as much of your sightline as you can see, there seems to be a dark forest ahead of you, probably about a half mile off. There's like a strip of grassland between the swamp and the forest. The swamp had trees in it, but this is very dense forest ahead of you. And the path seems to go directly into it.
I'm all for going into the forest.
I don't see why not. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
Like,
or nose or
the rumbling of your stomach is deafening.
So you venture forward. Do as the crypts do. So you venture into the forest. Immediate sense of like being darker. The trees block out a lot of the flashing light from the sky, and even though it seems like it was sort of in like a perpetual sort of twilight, it's like it's just darker now, being within the trees.
Yeah, we're in the night forest again.
The tree, they're all the trees are dead, just the skeletal, like white, worn down dead trees, and yet somehow they're blocking the light in a very strange way.
Can I check any of the trees for like antler marks or some sort of rut of animals?
Yeah, make a survival check. You cannot see any obvious signs on like the trees of anything like that, but searching around, you do find like hoof prints on the ground, not very fresh, but evidence that there were horses or something that has a similar profile foot through this area at some time.
Well, if they're not that fresh, might as well just stay on the road.
Yeah, it's hard for you to ascertain the age. Definitely not within the last couple of days. And you don't know what the weather patterns are really like here, so they could be a lot older if there's nothing to wash them away. So.
Alrighty.
Okay. Continuing along the path, you come to a junction in the road, a full crossroads. This area seems a bit more like the road is clearer here, like someone has, not like constantly, but at least more recently than the road you were on, cleaned it up a little bit, or it's been more traveled so that it can't get overgrown by the grass and stuff in quite the same way. one branch heads straight ahead of you, and then a branch heads not perfectly like orthogonally or anything, but another branch heads to the right and to the left. There are signposts pointing down each road.
Do they say anything on them, or is it?
You will have to look at them more closely because they're worn. It's hard. You can't see them from a distance. You'll have to roll. Well, you don't have to roll an investigation check. You just have to specify that you're going to go look at the signs.
I'll go look at them.
Okay, which one first?
Is there one that heads more towards the castle?
There's one that's going in the direction you have been going, which seems like it might be that way. But the road has kind of twisted and turned a little bit through the trees, not a lot, but a little bit. So it's possible that heading could have shifted one way or the other somewhat, and you're not quite sure.
I'll look at the one straight ahead to see.
Okay, that one is very worn. And let me find my note here. So the only thing you can make out on it is oops. Those are the letters you can make out. And you know what? Let me do it this way so that hopefully it'll show the hyphens. Yeah, I'll put in hyphens for the letters that are too worn to read.
Stands for the castle. The castle. A's Yusway.
There you go. There's hyphens for the letters that are missing. That's all that you can make out on that signpost.
How about the other two?
Okay, which one first?
More left one and then the more right one. From where
Okay, so the one left from where from your original heading says type this in properly. Instead, let me spell this. I always spell this word wrong. Mausoleum Road. I think I still spelled it wrong. I think it's an O instead of an E, but yeah. And then the other one says I'm writing these down just so you can re-reference them. The one to the right says Crescent Bay, and then there's been a sign pinned to the bottom of it that seems newer, quite newer than the sign post itself, that says this. And that is what you got.
We could always no.
I think you traveled for a good chunk of the day before you rested, and now we'll say it's been another couple of hours, so you gotta think 6-7 hours travel time, probably. Oh, the one that you were in? Oh, it's been a couple hours. Yeah, at least an hour, maybe closing in on 2. Nothing really was what happened, so you lit the lantern, so that prevented a lot of things that potentially could have happened. I think Talos got some money off the cleric. If that's what you're worried about.
I wouldn't know. Because I was not there.
Sorry, I'm on push to talk.
I thought that might be the case, but I was gonna wait a minute to see.
I have 37 gold coins and a rolled up scroll.
Well, we could continue forward, and there's mystery there. I'm always one for mysteries.
If there's ferry rides, there's a town. Let's go get some food.
Fair enough. Something tells me that there's probably not going to be a lot of bathing here. Just based off the general vibe I've gotten so far.
If there's ferry rides, there's water. You can take a bath in the bay. And I guess you don't want to get clean.
Picky. Well, let's go.
I like start licking my fur with as like a cat bath.
So you're going to Crescent Bay? Okay. As you're following the path along this way, this is definitely a more well-kept path. You hear ahead of you some noises. Just some banging kind of noises and a little bit of grunting.
I'm gonna start checking around.
I'm just gonna let it
behind
go
us.
that he thought it was okay to touch me and go see what's up.
Okay. You move forward a little bit, and through the mist you see a bend in the road, and the sounds coming more clearly. You hear what sounds like fighting around the corner. You can't see it through the trees and the mist, but you can hear it.
All right. I will relay that.
Well, shall we go take a peek, see?
Well, we should go watch and see who dies. Maybe we can eat the loser.
Not really a one for eating the loser, or I guess eating at all now. Sure. Oh, I want to go up and peek around the corner just a little bit, kind of
Hey,
duck against a tree, and
are you trying to stay hidden?
yeah.
Okay, make a stealth check with advantage because they're fighting, so they're not looking. And then make a perception check for me.
12. I am rolling. Not
Okay.
great.
The mist is thick enough that it's hard for you to see what's going on, but you can definitely see a few bodies kind of moving and fighting with each other in the mist.
Is there like a general count, or is that too hard to make out?
It's too hard to make out because you can't, when one of them like disappears into the mist, you don't know if it's the same one reappearing a moment later or a different person.
Kind of.
You can make out that there's at least one skeleton in the mix though, because you very clearly got some glimpses of bone.
Okay. I'm gonna relay that back.
Well, then my skeletons, huh? Well, and
At least one.
I sheathe my spear and I pull out the mace.
It does seem though that with the skeleton, you're probably not getting meat off of that one. Should we get involved?
Might as well. I thought you were hungry.
I
All
could
right, I'm
also
gonna
wait
roar and walk
until.
up.
Oh, okay.
All right, Talos, you move in and you come across two humans dressed in leather, fending off three skeletons. And there is one other human on the ground and what looks to be two destroyed skeletons on the ground as well.
I mean, this is not inconveniencing me with them fighting each other, so I'm not gonna get involved if they don't see me.
Okay. They haven't yet because they're so busy trying to survive.
I'm trying to play up the
say-
evil and like
Yeah,
not
you're
care
fine.
and save the day.
There is no reason that you need to help these people. It's
I
just a thing that
say-
is there in the world.
I say we wait until one of them kills the other, and kill whoever's left over.
Actually, how far away is the dead guy from the fight?
He's like right at everyone's feet. Like they've all been fighting in like a close little like maybe 15 by 15 area.
I'm half tempted to walk up and just start dragging the dead one away.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna post up against a tree and try to see if we can just wait until the dust settles, or one of them sees us, whichever goes first.
Okay. You just sit there, you see them fighting. They manage to kill another skeleton, but then one of the humans gets slashed across the arm. He turns and he sees you, and he calls out, "Please help us!"
What's in it for us?
And they're parrying swords, and he's like, I don't have any food, but we know how to get out of here.
Good enough for me. And I'm going to.
All right.
I'm going to light up both of my swords before we get involved.
Okay.
Yeah, mace in hand, I jog on up.
It does mean I take 2d4 damage. Give me a second.
I will remind you, there's only two skeletons left.
I'll light up one then. I'll just do 1d4. 2 damage. Awesome. And it is lightning damage. So I like slash myself across. We'll say I slice like my hand. As I open it up, I have one hand down, and as I unsheath it, it slices across my hand and then crackles with electricity.
Okay.
And then with the bloody hand, I grab the other.
Okay. You guys charge in then. Any of you that are planning on it, go ahead and roll initiative, please.
Oof, 7.
And wow, the skeletons are going to be a surprise for this first round to you guys. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Just me then, huh?
And you both have a +1. Yeah, let me double check what the skeletons
Rollies.
get.
Rollies.
I have never rolled I don't roll this good on my +8 to initiative character.
It's low and it's rolled
Okay.
low dexterity.
So you guys get to decide who's gonna go first, Talos or Morian.
Rollies.
All right. On a 1 I go, on a 2 you go.
That works too. Rollies is just you both roll a d20 and whoever gets higher wins.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do that then.
Rollies.
All right. So order is Morian, Talos.
Actually, he should have gone first because I think it's settled by whoever has the higher dex.
You both have a +1.
What? I thought he was a dex-based guy.
I'm dex
Morian?
based.
He's a wizard.
Oh, never mind. I'm looking at entirely the wrong initiative thing.
So it's gonna go. It's gonna go. Yes, that's fine. Yep. That's you know me, loosey goosey. So it's gonna be Morian, Talos, the 2 humans, then Darius, then skeletons, because skeletons also got a 7. So, Morian, what are you gonna do? To get to the point where you are able to actually see what's going on, you guys are like 25 feet away from them. Okay. 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 Um, 7 will miss. You know what? Wait. I will say, actually, because you're coming up behind the skeleton. Then is what you're trying to do. So the humans on the other side technically are your allies in this instance. Um, so I'm going to give you advantage on that, and a 14 will hit for 7 bludgeoning damage. They have vulnerability to bludgeoning, and these are just basic skeletons. Morian runs up behind one of the skeletons, hits it with his book, and it explodes. It just shatters. Okay. So the other one takes 4 fire damage. Okay. And that's when you land. Yeah, that's where you land. Staying there holding your book up defensively. All right, so that was the first skeleton. Go ahead, Talos.
I'm gonna roll my spear for the mace because it's the same all around.
Yeah, you have your stuff with them, so you're just gonna run up to the other one, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and because I did the dueling fighting style, it's D6 plus 6
Yeah, it's plus.
instead of plus 4.
Okay. Yep. All right. So it's just 2 extra damage. You
So
should be
that
able to
does
add
hit.
that in as extra damage. Yeah, 13 hits. 13 hits.
So 8.
Yep. Talos runs up to the other one and just shatters it in 1 hit.
That's all of them, right?
That's the 2 of them that were left. Yep, because the two guys took one down before you ran in. That's why I told you. That's why I was like, yeah, you don't want to light up both swords for sure.
I'll keep the one lit up. I'll sheath the other one just in case anybody tries.
Because it stays. How long does that stay? That's until you dispel it.
Until I put the sword away.
Nice. So yeah, you can just hold on to that
I
for a
believe
while.
it sheds a little bit of light, if I recall. I don't remember.
I would assume. Definitely, I would assume the fire would.
Mm-hmm.
And I make an argument for electricity. Okay. So these 2 guys, one of them immediately turns to check on his friend on the ground. Tries to kind of like shake him awake, but he is dead, completely dead. The other guy looks at you and he's like, "Thank you. We took a couple of them out, but their numbers were starting to get to us."
Was there? How many were there total? Like we saw two attacking them.
There were 5
them,
skeletons total.
and there were 4 of them.
3 of them.
3 of them.
And they just had short swords. They didn't have any bludgeoning weapons, so they didn't have that advantage of extra damage that you guys had. And they're scrubs. I'm just gonna come out and say it. These guys are not. They're not wearing armor. They're not here to fight. You know.
I'm not really one for
They don't even look like the kind of hardened criminals that you would expect to find in.
Yeah, I'm not really one for being the hero. You said you know how to get out of here.
Yeah, we heard rumors back in town. Everyone at first thought it was just a hoax, but supposedly there is a ferryman that can take you off the island.
Is that the one we saw the sign for?
I guess so.
And where do you come from?
Uh, uh, Recently or originally? We've been living in Duskvale.
Duskvale. Ah, that must be the sign that was not as kept up, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah, probably.
How much money do you have on you?
Oh, just a few silvers apiece.
You know, we did just save you. It would
I,
be
we, I mean, we only have enough for ourselves well, I guess
yes, but think of it this way:
Tomas doesn't need his anymore.
if we
I'm gonna
hadn't
rummage through
saved
through the
you,
corpse.
if we hadn't saved you, all of that would be put to waste, now wouldn't it?
Um, I, I guess we can give you everything we have to spare. So yeah, you rummage through.
Now, we aren't cruel, but
We just want enough left to be able to pay the ferryman, please.
how desperately do you want to go home?
Have you seen this place? Very desperately.
Families. Do
What
you
did you
have
say?
them?
Go ahead. What was that?
Say families, do you have them?
I Yes.
Hmm. All to spare that you have to spare, and maybe a couple more silver.
You can have everything that Tomas had. He doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, did I find any of that?
He had 15 silver
Oh,
and a
okay.
short sword if you want it. It's not in great shape, but it's a short sword.
Uh,
The
no,
other
my,
two,
nah,
or go ahead.
I'll leave it. If it's, I have, a spear and a mace. I think I'm good
Yeah.
on weapons.
The other two guys, if they keep the 10 silver for themselves, and they have 9 more silver between the two of them that they offer to you, Darius.
I think I can accept that for now.
I also,
Maybe if we're lucky, if there's anyone else there, we can do some trading or something. And we won't need our swords anymore. We'll gladly sell them and you can have the money if someone will take them.
I'm not really planning on staying around that long. So call that okay for now. We will accept the silver that you've offered, though, and
I suppose you're right. But thank you all the same.
I'll take whatever silver they've offered. Like,
Okay.
well, let's go on our way then.
I
All right.
also don't mention how much I actually got off the body.
That's
I
fine.
got 9 from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I do hope you guys have better luck.
As well,
I was gonna leave them.
we're heading to Crescent Bay, so if you're going the same way, we'll be on the road together, I guess.
Well, isn't that awkward? Don't you hate it when you say goodbye to someone and start walking the same direction?
Yes, I suppose we are going the same direction, but do note that if, and I'm going to point my sword right at one of them, like right in front of the nose, lightning crackle. Do note that should you slow us down, we will be forced to either leave you or get rid of you. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Good. Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you. I do find that I am pleasant to be around.
So you guys are heading off down the road.
Mhm.
These two guys, they introduced themselves as Bryn and Wallace. It's fine. I'm just letting you know that they told you. Okay, yeah, they follow, but they kind of keep at a little bit of a far pace, just like barely keeping you guys in sight. Um,
I just
okay,
grunt. I just grunt and keep walking.
all right. Morian pushes them in front of him, and they go. So you, oh my gosh, cat. So you travel through the forest some more, and same kind of thing. Just this dark mist, this
I gotta get up
the
for a second.
occasional, yep, this, fine. Occasional flashes of light. Morian, the lantern is getting low. Um, and I don't think you have any additional lantern oil, do you? Okay, so you have stuff to light it, but you don't have any more of the fuel. So you are noticing that the lantern is getting low on fuel. So you've still got a little bit of time, but you don't know exactly how long.
I'm back.
So, uh, y- us? I'm I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What do you need? What do you need? All all we have is this little bit of money in our swords.
I
Roll an intelligence check, Morian.
Creating a Molotov?
Morian, you are completely aware that only some sort of burnable fuel, such as an oil, would work in this type of lantern. You can't just like burn a scrap of paper inside of it. It's got a wick that gets soaked in oil, and the oil burns off the wick. Kerosene, gasoline.
How
Yeah.
far have we been walking?
Um, a little ways. It's probably been, let's say, another closing in on another hour. You've been walking the road, kind of winding through the trees a little bit.
And the lantern's gone out.
It's not out yet, but he's noticing the oil is getting lower. It's getting close to running out of oil.
How greasy is my mane right now?
Probably not terribly greasy because you can self-groom.
All right. Well, darn it.
Also, that wouldn't burn in an oil lamp. Um, are you continuing along the road?
I suppose
Okay.
so.
All right. After another little while of walking, the lamp is getting dangerously low, but the trees start to open up.
Do you see any sign of a town or a shoreline of some sort?
Make a perception check.
6.
So yeah, as you step out of the trees, the path starts to angle down, and the mist starts to dissipate. It's still thick behind you, but ahead of you, it's dissipating. And you walk a little bit further, and you see before you the shore. You see a shoreline. You see rocky, sandy beaches, and you see what once was a settlement. In a little inlet. You're still a little bit above it, so you're kind of looking down on it. Bunch of kind of crumbling houses, a large stone dock area. This definitely appears like at one point wasn't necessarily the busiest port for trade necessarily, based on the small size of like the town, but appears to have been an important dock for some other reason, because it's quite large and able to take either many small vessels or larger ships. You can see the crumbling remains of a lighthouse, and evidence that there probably was like a crane of some sort on the docks. And that is what you can see from where you're at.
Well, this is cheerful. I'm gonna start making my way down towards the town.
Okay. So the town is kind of so the town is kind of built up with like the stone like key of the dock and everything in the town above that, and then it kind of descends down into a sandy beach that goes off into the distance. Everyone else roll one more perception check for me, please.
Nope.
You can give yourself guidance. Absolutely.
Because it's touch.
It's touch, and it
Revere
lasts
does
for
it all the
1 minute.
time?
It lasts for 1 minute, and you get to use it on any check. So
Yeah, touch one willing creature.
yep. So you can add a D4 to that 6. Okay. Talos, you see horses on the beach.
Well, at least there's food.
And okay, so you descend into the town, and it's still apart from the fact that it's easier to see. There's just that silence and that stillness that is just very unnerving, because you don't hear animals, you don't hear bugs, you don't hear the wind. It's just silence apart from your own sound. You see no other people yet.
But we've seen horses, but they're not making any noise.
They're far enough away that you didn't really hear much. They just kind of seem to be grazing, along the beach. So they're not close enough that you're hearing like they're snorting really, and they're not like in a panic to where you hear their whinnying.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll just walk towards the village.
Okay. Entering in, the road you're on kind of goes on a nice little avenue that loops in a sort of a U through the town and then to the dock. Most of the buildings are collapsing in on themselves in varying states of disrepair. And that is what you are seeing now. Some of them are still like accessible, like you can go inside the buildings. You can't see inside of them from where you're at, but most of them have at least sections of wall or roof that have crumbled in somewhat, or at the very least are leaning at odd angles.
Is there like some sort of, if we pass some sort of like inn or goods store maybe?
Doesn't
have to be like
roll
in
either a
business.
perception or an investigation. You can see a building that it has like a hanging board outside of it that's worn off, but looks to have been some sort of shop at some point. There are a couple of larger buildings that maybe would have been inns or bunkhouses.
As we pass, like the one with the sign, I'll be like, well, there was a good store. We can check in there and see if there's any food.
I'm going in the store.
Hey.
I
whatever you
bristle at
say.
hearing the word underling.
Okay. You enter into the store. You can see a bunch of different shelves. This looks to have been probably some sort of general store. The one corner is collapsed a little bit, and there's some rubble, but the majority of it seems to still be well built. There's a staircase going up that you can assume is probably to like whoever owned the shop, their living quarters above it. A big long counter, shelves, lots of dust and rubble. But that's all you can see just at a cursory glance as you step in.
I'll look around, see if there's any food or drink.
Okay. Roll investigation checks.
Ugh. Awful.
I'll allow you to still have it. Well,
Oh,
actually, you
wow.
do anyways. Okay. Yeah. So you got a 25. So Morian, you see behind the like counter, there is a bunch of shelves that appear to have bottles on them. A whole bunch of the shelves out in the main store appear to have just sort of basic general goods. It's hard to tell what they are, but there's little boxes. You can see at least one section that's got some rope. There's a bunch of like little tins and little baggies and stuff. Most of it is covered in dust and seems pretty old. But any non-food general adventuring items are here. So you can easily each grab like a worn backpack and like rope and some of that kind of stuff if you
All
want.
right. Is there lamp oil?
You would have actually Morian got a really good investigation check. Yes, there are a couple of broken lanterns, and there is one vial of lamp oil next to the lanterns because you rolled so well. It's only good for one refill, but you can at least fill it up to full one more time.
I'm gonna go to the upstairs place where there seemed like there were people living.
Okay. You head up the stairs. They creak quite a bit under your weight. Not because you're excessively heavy, but because they're old and falling apart.
I
You
mean,
find
Talos is pretty heavy.
yeah. You find just a couple of bedrooms and like a little like sort of like utility room. In the larger of the bedrooms, there's a big double 4-poster bed. But the canopy has collapsed down onto the bed, and then there's a dusty, cracked mirror and like a wardrobe, and that's all you can see in there. And the other one looked like a child's room. Has a small bed and a similar like a little wardrobe and a chest, a little what you can assume is probably like a toy chest or something in the corner.
Ooh, I just want to look in the toy chest.
Yeah, there's some basic wooden toys, blocks, a little wooden toy sword, carved boat, that kind of stuff.
I want the carved boat.
Okay, you have a little wooden carved boat. Okay, he takes it from you. He looks into it, and he pours it out, and it's just sand, just full of sand. There are a lot more bottles. That's just you said you just grabbed one at random, so okay. You find 3 bottles with liquid in them. Keep in mind, potions, if you just take a drop of it, you're able to use that to identify what they are, without having any effects happen to you. The first one you opened was not. There's no smell. There's no odor at all. Actually, there is. You know what? There is. There's a little bit of a stale water odor. There's water that's kind of absorbed some of the bottle that it's in because it's been in it for a very long time. Okay. Mm-hmm. Next bottle, you pop it open and take a whiff, I'm assuming. It has like a scent of berries. It's a potion of healing.
Oh, it tastes like cough medicine.
Yep. Okay, the last bottle it's heavier than the other two, and it looks different. Do you speak Archaic? Then no, you cannot read the label. Oh, wait. I think you might. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, you can read it. Yeah, it says black pudding. Make a either
Wait.
intelligence or arcana check.
Black pudding?
Black pudding.
I think Talos would know what that is.
Okay. You can use arcana if your arcana's better. Okay, I'll take the 12. Um, you have heard of a black pudding before, but as far as you knew, it was a type of ooze, like a gelatinous cube or an ochre jelly. Okay. All right. You up? Yeah. That's fine.
He is searching up the
Okay.
stats for.
Let's see here. Okay, +5. What's your AC? All right. So the black pudding inside of the jar swings out with a pseudopod and hits you, and you take 1d6. It is a smaller one. You take 1 bludgeoning damage and 8 acid damage. If you're wearing any armor at all, it is now a permanent -1 to AC. I don't
I
know.
thought you had leather armor.
Yes, you do. Which means it is now, because leather armor only provides an AC of 11. So your leather armor is now irreparably destroyed. So your AC is reduced by 1, because now you're just getting your dex bonus. And everyone roll initiative. You're fighting a black pudding.
What am I rolling today? What?
Okay. um. It's I have to reduce its stats because it's not supposed to be a full-sized black pudding. So let's see. It's got it does have a very bad dex save, so that's good for you at least. It's still got a 13. All right, so Morian, you get to do something first. You're still holding the bottle. I will allow you one attempt to try and close it before it's able to crawl out of the bottle all the way. That would be your action. And it will be. Ooh, what should I do? Should I do a contested strength? I think it would probably be a contested strength check. It would have disadvantage because it's trapped in the bottle part ways. So, but yeah, you can attempt to close it with a contested strength check and then trap it back inside the bottle. Otherwise, you have to drop. Otherwise, you have to drop or throw the bottle to be able to do anything else. Well, throw it would be action. Drop it would allow you to then do a normal action. But then it will be fully released from the bottle. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. You gonna go outside of the building or just to like the other side of the room? Okay. So one of the front corners. Uh, roll the damage for your face step when you appear next to the wall. It does the damage. Well, I'm the DM, and I'm saying in your panic, it's damaging the wall. So roll your damage. I'm punishing you for opening the thing that was very clearly labeled black pudding. 4 damage. All right. You blow a little hole in the wall next to you because it's fire damage, right? Yep. And part of the wooden wall is like glowing embers, and the house creaks a tiny bit. Their building creaks a tiny bit. Talos, who's upstairs, you hear this, and then like you kind of feel the house just shift a tiny bit, and you also hear Morian yelling downstairs. Yeah. Now it's the Black Pudding's turn. Darius, were you near Morian or were you somewhere else?
I was probably near the doorway.
Okay.
Do I get a chance to react and like run down the stairs?
That was your initiative order, so you'll be able to run down on your turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because this all happened very quickly. So then the Black Pudding's gonna attack the one dude that was sitting there. And I'm not even going to roll for its damage because he only has 4 hit points. So the Black Pudding reaches out a pseudopod, hits the guy. You hear him scream as he starts to melt on the floor in the shop. And that was the Black Pudding's turn. So now it is Talos's turn.
All right. Wait, you did just say it's my turn, right?
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. I will run down the stairs.
Okay. You have enough movement to be able to get close to the Black Pudding. Just keep in mind it is a large. It's not large. Sorry, this one's a small. It's a small acidic ooze. So
I'm on my approach. I'm gonna hit it with a javelin.
okay. Go ahead and roll that. Are you throwing a javelin at it? Or are you just stabbing it with it? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, I keep forgetting I've got closed mic. I'm gonna kind of like the way like Roman soldiers would throw their pila at the enemy before they closed in.
Okay.
I'm going to do that.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead and roll your attack.
I'm just gonna do it the spear because it's the same amount of damage.
Okay. Yeah, that will hit. For 10 piercing damage. Okay. Yeah, so you deal 10 damage to the ooze. And your spear takes acid damage and is now at a -1 to its damage rolls.
The
Going
spear
forward.
itself
The spear
that I
itself
usually use?
that you
Wow.
usually use.
Whoa.
Your spear is now at a -1 because it is a non-magical weapon made of metal or wood.
I didn't even hit it with it.
You hit it.
No, with a javelin that I found that are made for throwing.
Oh.
Sorry, I rolled spear because it's the same
Oh,
damage
I gotcha.
profile.
But you're having it be the javelin. Okay, sorry. The javelin takes the -1 then.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying you were going to use the spear instead, but you meant you were going to use that to
Sorry,
roll,
yeah,
and that's
because I didn't have
me
it baked in
misunderstanding
yet.
you. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So the javelin takes a -1 for its damage going forward.
Oh.
And
because I don't
actually,
actually know what this thing is, I'm like still I'm
yeah.
getting as close as I can to it.
Also, since you threw the javelin, if you don't retrieve it on your next turn, it's just going to melt inside of the ooze completely. So I'm just going to let you know that.
Oh.
So that was your turn, and then the other human is going to take off running out the door. And it's Bryn. is the one that's left. And then Darius.
Noticing that the house seemed to have creaked the moment it took any sort of damage, I'm going to back outside of the building. Just, looking out for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I will draw my non-lit sword and have a stance at the ready. And I will hold my action to swing with my lit scimitar.
Okay. And that's your turn then?
Yep.
And you're swinging if the ooze comes out the door after you, essentially?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Morian. Do it. You have to make an attack with Eldritch Blast. You might have it built in your weapons, and yeah. 16 will hit. 6 force damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. It takes 6 force damage. Bits of it splatter off and sizzle on the counter and the floor. It's still mostly held together though. It's still got cohesion, and it's okay. And it is the ooze's turn now, and Talos is the nearest one now, so it's gonna attack Talos. That is a 6. It crit failed.
That will not hit.
Yep. So it misses you because the wood floor started to kind of melt underneath it. And then it is your turn.
All right. So you said that the javelin is like minus a hit now.
It's -1 to damage.
Oh, okay. Is that something like that I can actually see has happened to it? Like it got damaged by the
You can see that it's like smoldering from the acid of the ooze. Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily want to use my spear on this then, because I don't.
I will, because it's right next to you. I will allow you to be able to pick the javelin back up and attack with it again.
All right,
as
that's
the
what I'm
same
gonna
action.
do.
You won't be able to move if you do that. You'll essentially be using your movement to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I'll do.
Okay. So it's just going to do -1 damage, but that way you don't risk another weapon.
I'm using the javelin, but I'm rolling the spear to attack.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, 17 will hit, and the damage is the same.
Yeah, it'll be 6.
Okay. Yeah, because of the -1. So yeah, you pull the javelin out and you stab it back down into the ooze, and it loses all of its cohesion and just fizzles and kind of melts into the floor a little bit.
Oh, did we kill it?
Yeah. It's a
Oh.
small little one in a bottle. It can do a lot of damage because of the acid, but it doesn't have a lot of hit points. Mm-hmm. It's designed for you to take the bottle and go, huh, and throw it at somebody's face.
Oh.
And then it shatters, and then the ooze is like all over them. It's a grenade, basically. So it said black pudding on the tag.
Wow,
You didn't ask if there were instructions on the bottle. You asked if there was a label on the bottle.
So I totally would have opened it also thinking it was black pudding, as in like
Like the
pork, and oatmeal.
English. Yep. Yeah.
So either way, that bottle is
there's
getting opened.
There's an English food called black pudding.
I mean, why it's in a bottle, I would be a little like, what the heck? But
Okay.
oh yeah, there's a dead guy.
He has a
Leg
short
turn.
sword and 10 silver coins.
All right, I'm gonna snack on some leg of dead guy.
Actually,
Yeah, how much of that melted?
He has 9 silver coins. Okay. The house starts to creak more.
I'm outside, so it's fine.
Yep.
I'm dragging his corpse outside so I can eat leg of dead guy.
Okay. You guys get out the door. Darius is like, okay. And then the house, you just hear, and the whole thing just collapses behind you. Dust shoots out everywhere, and the noise just echoes. And then stillness again.
Creating that loud noise might not have been the best idea. I say we need to move towards the shoreline.
I mean, yeah, we could go find the ferryman.
You're going towards the docks? Okay. Everyone roll a perception check for me, please. Okay. Right, yeah, 22.
What do your elf eyes see?
So you crest up a little part, lifted part of the road as it turns to go back towards the docks, and you see down along the beach towards where the horses were. You see Bryn just booking it, and he and this is both Darius and Morian are seeing this. Talos is more preoccupied trying to rip off a leg to eat leg of man. You see him attempt to jump onto the back of one of the horses to ride away, and the horse rears up and bolts towards the water. And now you guys are like, you're like, why is the horse running that way? Wouldn't it run the other way? And you stop to watch, and you got a 22. Yeah, you can't quite tell what's going on. Bryn seems to be like holding on tightly, even though this horse is like bolting in a random direction, and it bolts straight into the water and disappears beneath the water with him still on its back, and the ripples dissipate and they're gone. Also, upon that, you do notice that the water that comes up to the shoreline, there are no waves. There is no motion in the water. It is just like it goes from sand to what just looks like glass, reflecting what little bit of light there is.
Yeah. You sure you don't want any? Come on, you know you want it. Well, I don't mind cooking some. Is there like wooden rubble from the house we can burn?
Yeah, if you want to.
I just want to see this guy eat like a man. All right. Can't. I guess, yeah. So I guess we'll light up a little fire and. All right, fine. Later, and I'm All right, good enough.
Okay. So, where are you going? Are you continuing towards the dock, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Trying to avoid the horses as best as possible.
Oh yeah, and as we get towards the dock,
The horses are out on the beach. They're not in the town.
Okay, good.
As we get to the dock, I'm gonna rip the apart, like a forearm or something off the guy as I've been dragging him, and toss it into the water.
Okay. It makes a nice, satisfying splash, and the ripples cascade across the water and then slowly dissipate.
You happy with that?
Yeah, it's a dead body part, so yeah, it just floats back to the surface. There's no like current or anything to move it, so it's floating very still, just in the water. Tiny bit of bobbing, enough to create a little ripple around it, but that's it.
Good. So there's no
Suddenly, a
ferryman.
giant tentacle reaches out and grabs it. Roll initiative, you're fighting the Kraken. No.
No!
The Watcher in the water.
Time for new evil characters.
Aragorn says, "Don't disturb the water," but it's too late. You already threw something in. Okay, so you follow the road along towards the dock. You get up onto the stone quay, and there is no one around. There is one boat floating kind of low in the water. And it's tied off, and there's a little stool and what look like a couple of crates next to it. And that's all you can see.
So there's no boat.
There is a boat, but it's floating low in the water.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. It's not a huge like ship or anything. It's like a little pontoon, like go across a river kind of pontoon ferry boat type thing.
It is a ferry boat, though, like something
That's
that we use.
what it looks like. Yeah, like one that you could put like 6 people in and kind of punt across a space.
I'm gonna pull out 2 of those silver pieces that I had.
Okay.
And just toss them into the ferry.
Into the boat.
Yeah, into the boat.
Okay. Slight splash because there's some water in the bottom of it. That's why it's sitting so low.
All right. I don't know if it was 2 silver to. Oh, it was 10 silver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was thinking that I don't know why I thought 2.
Well, no time like
we
the
didn't.
present, and I will step down into the boat.
All right. Your boots slosh in a little bit of water. The boat sits a little bit lower with your added weight. Rocks side to side a little bit.
Can I see the silver that Talos dropped down?
Yeah, it's just in the little bit of water on the bottom of the boat.
I'll grab one of those and hold out my 9 others. Anything happen?
Nothing happens. All right. You sit on the stool. You notice a little book that you didn't see before, sitting kind of next to the crates and stuff. Okay. What you are reading is, I don't have this typed up for you, but it's just a journal. Goes through a whole bunch of days of pretty mundane stuff of someone of like a guy who ran the ferry, taking people up and down the coastline. There's there's not a lot of specifics that it's giving you about any sort of time frame or like features, so you don't know how recent this is. And then there's a note about talking about darkness descending, and the last entry just says, "I'm going to search for my family." How long you been sitting there? Yeah, we'll give you a short rest, sure. We'll say like it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. For just restoring a couple of for just taking a breather and restoring a couple of hit dice, I'm not gonna have it take you a long time. You're not doing anything else. Yeah, you're not doing anything else substantial, so. Okay.
How much did it hit you for? Jeez.
And that's with me having it do half damage because it wasn't a full size black pudding. It would have. There's a chance it could have one shot you if I'd had it just be a full fledged black pudding coming out of that jar. Yep. Hey, you opened it.
Why do they have to make enemies sound so delicious?
I don't know, but it's a named 5th edition. I didn't even make it up. That's a named 5th edition creature. All right. Is anyone else gonna do anything else? Okay.
Hmm. So what I'm understanding is he probably went out there and got himself killed. Or he's still out there looking for his family. Darkness descends. I
Okay.
don't. Can I try to recall if I've ever heard anything about darkness descending of the sort?
Give me a history check.
Okay, I'm gonna use one of my knowledge from a past life thing too.
Okay. Which
So that
does
gives me
what
a
again exactly?
plus d6 to my roll.
Okay.
So it's a 15.
Nothing specific. Yeah, you just you know that like that could have been, either some sort of strain, like what comes to mind is like maybe some sort of eclipse, or maybe darkness descending could be a storm. Really, there's a lot of things that could cause darkness to descend upon an area.
And the sky right now is just like purple flashes.
It's completely black with occasional purple flashes of lightning. Yep.
That's probably the darkness that descended.
That very well could be the darkness.
I'm attacking the darkness.
Yes, magic missile at the darkness.
Well, I don't think we're going to get anything further from here unless we want to try to take this boat out into the middle of nowhere, but I'm not particularly skilled in rowing.
Can't be that bad. I'll do it.
Are we sure we want to? We don't really know what we're getting into out there.
Although they told us the castle was the way out.
That's true. Maybe we should
But at
head
least
back
if
the
we're
other
on the
way.
water, we can row along the shore, and the skeletons can't get us.
We could, yeah. We is how is it's there's like a layer of water. Is it like the ferry is at heavy danger of sinking at any moment, or is it like
It's up to your ankles.
okay, the bottom have like any holes or major cracks in it or anything?
Nothing that seems obvious. With you standing in it, it doesn't seem like it's taking on more water. There just somehow was a bunch of water in it.
Probably because it rained in it.
Well, we could take the boat a little bit.
I'll hop in both.
There are no oars, by the way. It's just like a pontoon, like a punting. There's a punting stick. So this cannot go out very far.
Hmm.
Well, we can punt along the shore. Unless that takes us farther away from that castle.
You don't know because you don't know where the castle is in relation to the coastline, and there's enough twists and turns in the forest that. Does any of you have the feat that lets you know which direction is which?
I do not.
Then yeah, then you don't know which way the castle is directly in relation. Well, you know that it's not like it's not going to your if you're standing on the shore, it's not going to your right down the coastline. You're able to infer that much, but you don't know if going left up the coastline would bring you close to the castle at all.
Oh, and we
The
can't
castle,
see it in the distance.
not right now because you've kind of gone down a little bit and there's the forest there and stuff, so you currently can't see it. So you have no idea if going up the coastline would bring you closer to the castle or not. But you can definitely do that. You just have to be careful not to punt out too far to where you can't control the boat anymore.
Might
It's up
honestly be safer just to travel the way we came.
Probably.
I think so. It's hard to tell with all of the twisting and turning in the forest, but I think that's closer.
My, what grand ambitions.
You all hear an unearthly screech echoing across the land.
I'm gonna listen. What direction?
Roll a perception check. You do have advantage with your listening.
Yeah.
It is
14.
coming from the direction of the beach where you saw Bryn disappear.
Maybe we should get out of here.
Agreed.
Let's start. Yeah, I'm gonna start kind of
Okay.
quickly making my way back up towards.
Are you going to
town.
follow the road around the loop, or are you going to try and cut through the ruined houses to cut across? Because they're sort of a horseshoe of the road.
Whatever's like a straighter line, I would think we can go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not super duper difficult to cut through. Most of the houses, like I said, are like damaged or collapsed, but there's space in between some of them. So you cut across some houses to get back towards the road where you first entered the little village. And you hear the screech again. And I'm assuming you're just continuing up the road.
I'm gonna look back just to see if we're being followed or.
Roll a perception check.
15.
Okay. As you guys go the incline of the path towards the trees, something prickling on the back of your necks causes you all to turn and look. And you see that on the beach. And it is deceptively large, by the way.
Let's just
much-
keep going and hope it doesn't notice us. Get to the forest and maybe we can get out of its eye shot.
Okay. So you keep rushing to the forest.
Yep.
Mhm.
Are you, Morian, you notice the lamp has gone out by this point. Okay, so you're running into the forest first. Okay. So as you run into the woods, the mist gets thick again, and it gets thicker, and it gets thicker, and before you know it, you've all lost sight of each other. You can feel that you're still on the path.
Morian, light the damn lamp.
Morian, you don't hear anything.
I'm gonna raise my sword and try to see if I can.
Morian, you're able to very easily fill the lamp and light it with your tinderbox. You get a nice little sphere of light around you. It pushes the mist back a little bit. The other two are nowhere to be seen. The other two of you are trapped in the mist. You have no idea where you are.
And we're
You can
still on the
both-
path.
You can feel the stone path underfoot.
Hear
Nope.
anything?
Either hear anything, but you do both see a light appear through the mist.
Oh, walk towards the light.
I'll
And
cautiously make my way there.
And this is both separately, by the way. As you take a step towards it, then another one appears off to the side. And then another. And then three more. And pretty soon, there are dozens of little lights floating in the mist.
Do any of them look like the lamp?
They all look exactly like the lamp.
Oh, goody.
I'm gonna go towards the first one I saw.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
as good as any of the others.
Pull this up. I didn't have this prepped because I assumed you were going to use the lamp the whole time. Okay. Darius, you first. You move towards this light. You come out of the mist into a little sphere that's lit up a little bit, and you see the light bobbing there on its own. And what's your AC?
16.
All right. Oh, that's an unnatural 20. You take 5 lightning damage, and then the light vanishes, and you hear a little giggle.
Okay.
Morian, you're on the road, and you don't see any other lights. Talos, same thing. You're approaching a light. Let me do this, and the same thing happens. So I'm just going to roll it to hit.
By the way, I've had my character sheet up this whole time, and I closed it just to see what this hideous thing is on the screen.
A bolt of light shoots at you, Talos, but it misses, and then the light vanishes with a little giggle.
Ugh.
And now there are more of them in the mist around you guys.
Are they staying somewhat away?
They're
Unless
all
like
staying. They're all kind of staying stationary. They're just like bobbing slightly.
Are
I'm
there
going
any
to-
lights that look like they're like moving in any singular direction?
Morian, are you moving? Or are you standing still? Okay. Roll a d20 or roll a perception check. D20. A perception check. It's
Oh,
hard to
come
tell
on.
with the swirling mist.
I'd probably be trying to do the same.
Okay, go ahead.
18.
Darius, you see one that seems to be moving more heavily than the others.
I'm making my way towards that one.
Okay. Roll a d4.
3.
You enter another little sphere, and a little bolt of lightning shoots past you, and then the light disappears.
And that was the one that was moving more intently than the others?
You think it was. There's so many of them, and the swirling mist, it's hard to tell. You identified one. It increased your chances of possibly finding the right one. Talos, if you want, you can pick another one to just approach, and you'll be rolling a d20.
Sure.
Okay, roll me a d20. Bolt of lightning shoots past you again.
I'm just gonna keep walking towards him.
Okay. Roll me another d20. Oh, that one's gonna hit you.
Yeah.
You take 4 lightning damage from that one, and then it giggles and runs away. If you want to keep searching, Dorian, you can do it with rolling the d4 because you've kind of more honed in on what you're looking for.
I'll look for that again and roll another d4. Yes, 2.
Okay. Nope. 13, I think, still misses you though. So bolt of lightning just shoots past you again. Giggle, giggle.
I mean, I have to like blindly try to find.
You can roll another perception check to try and see more better to see if there's anything different about them again.
I'm also gonna like try to smell.
Okay.
Oh gosh, darn it!
Um,
I'm so blind.
none of them seem to really be doing anything.
All right, roll a d20.
Yep.
If I-
If you get a good enough perception, you'll increase your odds, but that wasn't good enough yet. So that's not the one. 13, I believe, misses you. So another little shock bolt, and then runs away or disappears, I guess.
My goodness.
Primal instincts are starting to kick in. He's gonna go towards it again.
Okay, d4.
No.
Yep, same thing. Just shoots at you and disappears, but misses. They don't really care if they hit you or not.
Can I do another perception?
Yes, you can.
Oh my gosh, it's like the I think
Darius.
this
Say
is
this,
trying to. This
because
is
of
balancing out for the other
because of the
character.
amount of time you've and how many you've gone after now, you can roll a d15 to try and find the right one.
All right.
I'm closing my eyes and just listening and smelling.
Talos, you run out of the mist, and there's Morian holding the lantern in front of you.
Shush, that's not important. I need you to wave your hand in front of the lantern.
I already said my eyes are closed. I'm just listening and smelling.
Okay, roll a perception check.
So with advantage, it's a 20.
Yeah, but there's nothing to smell.
I
So
know. It's still a 20 though. No. Oh, my
you
eyes again.
smell mist. Yeah. You can make a perception check with advantage to see now because he's moving it around more.
14.
14. All right. D2.
Oh boy.
Wow. How does? That's impressive.
That's
That
gonna
does
hit
it.
you for 5 more lightning damage.
He's gonna transform.
Okay. Darius transforms. Here, I'll pull
me
you guys back to
mark
the
my
main page here, just so you don't have to
sheet.
stare at that gross thing.
Oh, that reminds me of that sprinting meme where a guy's running and it's like muscles move, make the body move, and it's like, give me a skin, George.
Yeah, it's a skinless horse with a skinless human torso attached to its back.
It reminds me of the Grim Horseman from Ruby.
That the Grim Horseman from Ruby is based directly on this same entity.
Oh.
It's a Scottish thing. I've been listening to lots of this show called Monstrum while I'm at work on PBS. Great show, by the way. Totally plugging it.
Is that a puka?
No, it's a Knuckle of V.
I'm gonna roll again. There we go.
Hey, Darius comes charging through the mist into the group.
I am a wolf right now.
He is a wolf.
Actually,
A wolf comes charging through the mist.
werewolf. It's just me.
Since when could you do that?
Do what? I'm gonna look at my hand.
Uh,
hand.
my shield, is it made of metal?
It's metal. It's wood frame with metal over it. Yep.
I hold it up so like he could potentially see his reflection in the.
I guess I should describe what I look like now.
Go for it. Yeah.
I am a white wolf.
Racist.
I have kind of splotches of black fur like over the eyes area, matching kind of the coat that he wore. And in a couple places where you can see fur, it's like a big open gash, infected, some places down to the bone. So he looks like a super undead werewolf, white and black werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is very new. I didn't know I could do this.
Well, can you undo it? You're kind of freaking me out there, buddy.
Is the lion in armor?
Okay. A little infection squirts out. I would transform back, but I feel like I need to take advantage of this. I don't know if how long this lasts or what I can do with this. I feel stronger. I have claws now.
Hey, welcome to the club, buddy. And I like pop mine in and out. Can they do this?
I'm gonna try.
No.
It would appear not.
I put my paws up in front of me and only extend the middle claw.
Rude.
Okay.
Well, I suppose we should keep going then.
All right. You guys survived the will-o-wisp encounter. That
This
has
is-
been ready since the very first episode and hasn't happened yet.
I think this lasts for an hour is what this lasts for.
Okay. You guys are, I'm assuming you're gonna continue following the road then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
back towards.
You follow the road, twisting and turning back through the woods. And by about the time you get to the crossroads again, Darius returns to normal.
It does so with a lot of bone snapping and popping sounds.
A lot of that. Probably a little bit of painful yowling as well.
Mm. Well, that was interesting.
Didn't that hurt?
Not really.
Sounded like
Oh.
it hurt.
I mean, I guess I don't feel a huge amount.
It's true, I guess you wouldn't have been yelling in pain as much as a normal person would. Okay. You're at the crossroads. It looks the same as the last time you were there. Oh, by the way, you did not. The dead body and the skeletons were not on the road when you returned back through.
No.
Just a side
I'd say probably with that too, my sword would probably not be lit anymore.
note. Unless you kept it out through all of that, then yes.
It probably would not have.
Okay, so yeah.
Are we going towards Darkvale or what?
I think that would be the best option right now, based off the evidence that we have.
Okay.
If I was a tabaxi, I'd have a climb speed and I could climb up the trees.
Yep. You're not. You're a Leonin.
I know.
Okay, so you travel down this new path towards Duskvale. Ah,
Dusk.
and yeah, it's Duskvale. I didn't feel the need to correct you because you guys might not have remembered. They only heard it said once. So, and similar thing, kind of road winding through the forest. The mist is still, constant and pretty strong. And then just like stepping out of a sensory deprivation chamber. You step out of the woods, out of the mist, into a plain, and it is still dark. But now there is a full moon glowing purple up in the sky, silhouetting a castle, enormous castle looming over you. It's like it's scary how it can be that big and seem so close while it's still far away.
Does the full moon do anything to me?
It does not.
Okay.
It does. You know what? You feel empowered a little bit by it, and you're able to roll a hit dice and restore some hit points
I will do that.
because fun flavor.
Yes.
And because I just hit you with a couple of attacks and I feel bad.
There.
Because I was mean about making you, because you had to roll a crit on whatever dice you were rolling to be able to get out, and that was kind of mean. So
It's good too, because if I get my thing back, and if we had been in combat and I went into wolf form, I'd have to start making wisdom saving throws to not just attack whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds awesome.
So, yeah. there is a light breeze now. Cold, but not not like frigid or anything. And you can kind of hear the sound of that wind moving through the grass and stuff like that. If you turn around and it's almost a solid wall of mist at the line of the trees. And across this now is much clearer and easier to see sort of plain. You see the road travel off. There is the castle you can see sitting on the ground with the moon behind it, and around the base of the castle, a big city, a walled city. And there are lights in the city. That is what you're looking at, and we can keep going. It's only 7:30, so we don't have to. I got
It's
plenty more
8:30
stuff
for
ready.
me,
So
though.
I guess it's true. It is 8:30 for you. So whenever if you need to stop, we can stop there with you guys seeing the city, or we can go a little bit further if you want to push through. It's up to you. Curiosity gets to make that call is later for you.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm having trouble paying attention anyway, so it's
That's
probably
fine.
a good time to call it.
That's a perfect time to stop seeing the city appear out of the woods. You had a couple of little miniature encounters, so yeah, that's where we'll let off, peeps. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
I waved and I don't have my camera up.